Guys, the car scene here, coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to buy a car. A lot of you maybe haven't bought a car before, and especially haven't probably bought a new car before, so I'm going to explain to you how to do that and what the process is. With that said, let's get into the video. So guys, when buying a car, the first thing that you need to figure out is your finances. How much can you afford and what can you buy and how do you have to buy it? So the first thing we're going to look at is going to be financing versus cash purchase. A lot of you aren't going to be able to make a cash purchase. Heck, I wasn't able to make a cash purchase. So you're going to have to look at something like financing. When we're talking about financing, you're going to want to make sure that a couple factors are met, that you have decent credit, and that you have a down payment. If you do end up needing a cosigner, that's okay. Just make sure that your cosigner also has decent credit and also has the income that they need to make for the loan that you're looking for. Now, if you don't have income, you don't have credit, what are your options? Well, you can go to a buy here, pay here, but quite frankly, I don't recommend that option just because a lot of them are going to give you insane interest rates and not keep track of your payments very well. That's just historically true for buy here, pay here lots. However, it's not true for all of them. You can find a few credible ones that are just trying to help people get a car. So we've talked about financing. Obviously, cash purchase is pretty easy. You roll in there, you give them a certified check from your bank or write them a check, or do a bank transfer or use a debit card, whatever the situation is that you're paying for the car cash outright. That's a pretty easy process. Okay, but now you've got your financing, now you've got your car. What do you have to worry about? Should I pay more? Should I pay the minimum? What should I do? Well, it depends on what you want to do. A lot of loans are set up to be as long as they can to give you the lowest payment possible. However, you can pay more than that and you can pay off the principal early. And one of the advantages of paying your loan off early is that you don't pay as much interest and you have your car paid off earlier, obviously. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, you know, I've got a bank, they're ready to give me a loan. It's 84 months. Do you recommend getting a car for 84 months? I don't recommend financing a car for that long of a period. However, what I'll say is if you pay that loan off early, you'll have less interest overall because, well, here's what they're going to do. They're going to charge you more interest for a shorter loan and less interest for a longer loan. And the reason why is because over that long period of time, if you actually go the full, 6 years, 8 years, whatever they're dragging it out to, you'll actually pay more in interest. But if you take that same interest rate and you pay on it like it's a 4-year loan, you'll pay less interest than you would have had you originally just financed it as a 4-year loan. So what I'm going to say about that is just pay off early if you can. And if you can't, that's okay. Just pay as much as you can, and if you can only pay the minimum for now, that's fine too, but pay the minimum. The other thing I'm going to say when buying a car, so number one, if you're buying a new car, pay a lot of attention to whether or not it's the car that you want and are going to need for years to come, because a lot of people will buy a Mustang or a Camaro or some sports car that they don't actually end up needing, and then they lose a ton of money. Because what they've done is they've gotten a car that they can't use when they get a girlfriend, when they get a wife, when they get kids, and now they have to sell that car, waste all the money that they paid in interest and not have a car, or lose money on the sale because it's not something that they need, it's not something the person that they're selling to needs or wants. So what I'm going to say is get a car that will actually last you a few years, a car that's going to be useful for years to come. Make sure the car that you're buying, especially if it's a new car, because you're spending so much money on a new car and they're so easy to get your hands on most of the time, provided there's not a chip shortage like there is right now. However, we are on the end of that slope. But make sure the car that you want is the exact model, trim, spec, color that you want, because you have to live with that car for 4, 5, 6 years, however long until you sell that car or until it breaks down, which hopefully a new car isn't breaking down anytime soon. So you've got that. The other thing is pay attention to gap insurance. When you're financing a car, a lot of dealerships are going to offer you gap insurance. If it's a good gap insurance, like 1.5 times the car's value, that's perfect. If they're offering you something like 1.1 or 1.25% of the car's value, don't get it. Just go with your normal car insurance, add it onto your car insurance premium, but definitely get gap. And what gap insurance does is if your car loses value over the time frame of you own the car, so let's say you own the car for 2 years, it was originally a $35,000 car, and now after 2 years it's worth $20,000. Let's say you wreck that car, but you still owe $30,000 on it. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to be liable for that $10,000 difference, or whatever the difference is between the value of the car and what you owe. Gap insurance will actually cover that difference. Now, it's going to cost you anywhere between like 12, 13, 15, sometimes 25 bucks a month, but definitely get it, because here's what's going to happen if you crash your car and your car, has a ton of miles. isn't a very desirable car, just loses value really quickly, like an Audi or something like that, definitely get the gap insurance because it is a must-have. Definitely get gap insurance. But like I was talking about with a new car, make sure that that new car is the exact car you want because you have to live with that car. The same thing's true for a used car. Don't go get the first best good deal that you find on a used car because there's a lot of cars out there. There's a lot of cars that you can purchase. Definitely get one that's a good car that you actually enjoy. From color, from interior to exterior, everything about it, just make sure that it's actually the car you want. So we've got financing covered. Like I said, make sure you have good credit. If you're interested in good credit, there's a ton of videos on good credit out there. And make sure that you have income that qualifies for the loan. The bank will tell you. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is shop around on your loan. You can shop as many loans as you want and you can get them taken off of your report after, but shop for as many loans as you want so that you can get the lowest payment. If you go for the first payment, you're going to end up paying way more interest than you need to, way more money than you need to, but definitely shop around for the best loan that you can possibly get because there's going to be a lot of loans out there. There's going to be a lot that they try and give you, but just make sure that you get the best payment that you possibly can on buying your new or used car. The other thing, when you're buying a used car, make sure that you check the Carfax on that car, make sure that you check the oil on that car, make sure that you get the transmission checked out on that car. There's a lot of factors that can ruin a car that a lot of consumers just don't know about. So if you can, bring a mechanic with you. If you can, get it checked out by a certified mechanic before you leave the lot. And yeah, with that said, thanks for watching, guys. If you found this video helpful, leave a like, comment down below, let us know what you thought. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you next time.